I wanted a nice camera, but I didn't want to spend like $600, $700 for it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Muskan and I make lifestyle vlogs, tutorials, really anything relevant to my life. Today's video is all about my Canon Rebel SL2. This is my first camera. This is my first like really nice vlogging, video, photography camera, and I want to talk to you guys about how I snagged it for a great deal. So originally this camera I believe is $549 to $579, I'm pretty sure. So I got mine with some extra stuff as well, and we'll get more into that in a little bit, for $350 flat rate. I got the camera, I got 3 batteries, a dual battery charger, and a battery grip. So before I explain to you how I got the camera, I kind of wanted to talk about why I got the camera. I am a new YouTuber, a small YouTuber, but what I think is important, and like, I don't think everyone necessarily feels this way, or not everyone should feel this way, but I was taking videos with my phone, and I have a really nice phone, and the quality of the video is great as well. But the problem is, or at least the problem for me, was that I felt that I needed the camera to kind of up my game. And while a lot of really great YouTubers, like, they make quality content with their phone, and honestly, like, props to them, and they do a really good job, and I don't think I was necessarily producing bad content with my phone, but I feel like this is like exactly the extra push I needed. And also, like, I told myself that I'd be able to get a camera if I could get it in or around my budget. So like, I wanted a nice camera, but I didn't want to spend like $600, $700 for it. So instead, I kind of gave myself a challenge. If I could find a camera under $400, which I know is still not very cheap, but it really depends on the type of camera you're looking for. Like, for some people, $350 may not be cheap, and for some people it may be just the perfect price. But the method that I acquired this camera through, like, you could find other cameras that are maybe more in your price range. So I know people buy kind of like used cameras all the time. There are a couple of websites I've seen where you can buy like refurbished used cameras, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as someone who doesn't know a lot about cameras, as someone who is getting their first camera, I felt a little hesitant to buy it online. I'm very hesitant about buying a lot of things online, so maybe that's just like me. But there is another way to get used, fairly new cameras in person. What I did was I used reselling apps, so, you know, Facebook Marketplace, Letgo, Mercari, OfferUp. So those are the 4 that are really popular near me. So I used all 4 of those apps to try and hunt down my perfect camera. My favorite are Letgo and Facebook Marketplace, because I've always found a lot of success with Facebook and Letgo. I also sell on both of those platforms, so I guess that's why my comfort with those apps were a lot more. What I really like about both Facebook Marketplace and Letgo is that, in Mercari and OfferUp, but it's just like I said, I'm going to focus mostly on Facebook Marketplace and Letgo because I haven't really had a lot of experience with Mercari and OfferUp. You can leave a review for your buyer, and, you know, if you're selling as a seller, your buyer can leave a review for you. If you're a seller, you can leave a review for the buyer. So I really like that because, like I said, I have sold on both of those platforms before. So when people leave me reviews, or when I leave like sellers or buyers reviews, they're pretty honest reviews, or most of the time they're very honest, right? So I want to make sure that if I had a good experience, people know to buy from this person. Fortunately, I haven't had a bad experience, so I haven't had to, you know, go the opposite way. But people do leave bad reviews for any sort of shady or rude or suspicious person. Like, they'll leave reviews for those type of buyers or sellers. So I feel like that's a really great thing, and I always try to make sure if I'm buying from someone, they have good reviews and their profile is verified. You know, like I check out that they're a real person, not any sort of like, you know, ad or robot or anything like that. Although I do have to say that like on Facebook Marketplace, they're pretty good about taking down false listings. And you can tell when a listing is false when, you know, they have no profile picture or they have no reviews, and the picture of the product is like from an online screenshot and not like the actual product. So those are some things you really have to look out for. Make sure that your product is, you know, there's real pictures of the product on that person's profile. And I also make sure that there's multiple pictures, and if you're not satisfied with the pictures that are posted, always try to request more pictures by sending the seller a message, because even before you make that step to go get the product or go see or test out the product, you want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. You want to make sure that the product is good, and if you like want to see a different angle of whatever you're buying, you have to, you know, ask those questions. If you are dealing with a good seller, which most of the time you will be, they will be willing to send you more pictures and even sometimes negotiate prices. But I also like that they can put like if the price is firm or if the price is negotiable, because then you can see how much leeway you have. With that being said, what I did was I even used Mercari and OfferUp because I didn't want to kind of turn down any sort of like angle, because I really wanted a nice camera and I wanted to make sure I got the best price for it. So I like searched through these apps for a couple days, like and honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even gonna say that I've been looking for months or anything like that. Like couple days, I've just been looking for the right camera, and fortunately, I was able to find one. I took a few days to look only because I wanted to make sure the price was exactly what I wanted and the product was exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to sacrifice any of those things. I looked for a couple of days. I checked out like, you know, the different people posting, made sure they were legit, and you know, everything was good to go. The two cameras that I was really looking for was the Canon M50 and the Canon Rebel SL2. I finally found the SL2, so I wanted to get something that was going to be like a sustainable product, something that I could keep using over and over, and like the quality of the product would be intact as I keep using it and using it. The reason why I changed my mind and didn't end up getting the Canon M50, because I found two Canon M50s. The price was a little bit higher. A lot of people were not willing to budge on the price. I think the original for that is also around the same. It's like around $600, and most people had it listed for like $500, $550, and I just feel like if I'm going to spend that much money, I might as well go buy a new camera and not buy something that's used, because they're not really decreasing the price that much. So that is why I was like, you know what, these two, like, they're both what I wanted, but then I was kind of like, I didn't like that the price wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I did some more research on the Canon Rebel SL2, and I kind of fell in love with the camera because it has like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connection. What's so cool about this camera is that when you go to the Canon Camera Connect app, you could actually see like your remote live view shooting. So for someone who makes videos by themselves, me, I can actually start and stop my camera from my phone. All of the images on my camera get transferred to this app, and then I could just import them onto my cell phone or onto my laptop straight from the app. So I just feel like it's super user friendly, and for someone who's just getting into this YouTube world, getting into like using professional cameras, that is just incredible. I find it very convenient. It's very efficient. So I realized that maybe the Canon SL2 was more my speed. So then I narrowed down my search to this one camera, and I found a couple on Facebook Marketplace. Again, wasn't super satisfied with the price, because some people had the price up to like $500 and like they weren't putting in any extras or anything like that. And a little disclaimer, most of the time you will only find the body of the camera. You won't necessarily get lenses with it unless your seller includes them. From my experience, I didn't see a lot of cameras with lenses included. But regardless of them putting in the lens or like not including the lens, the reason why I like these reselling apps is usually people like buy a bunch of equipment with the camera and then they decide, okay, maybe it's not for me, or for any reason they decide they don't want it anymore, they'll include that with the camera and give you like a base price for all of that. So I was kind of looking for a full package. So some of the things I was looking for is like some extras with the camera. I wanted it barely used and I wanted it for around $300. So those were my main criteria, and I just feel like I was very lucky that I was able to find it. And I think it's not even luck. I really do think that these reselling apps are set up that you are able to find these things. And the best part of these apps, honestly, is that most people don't even use these products. Like, they get it and then they decide it's not for them. It's pretty much always like barely used or just out of the packaging, and they like took a couple shots with it and then they were like, it's not for me. In my case, that was exactly it. Like, the guy I bought it from, he was just like, this was my secondary camera, I didn't even really use it. And you could see from the box, you could see from the packaging, like a lot of things were in its original packaging. Like, the only thing he took out was like the camera, and that was pretty much it. He literally was like, I took a couple of shots with it and I decided that it wasn't for me. Because of that, I was really happy with the price, and it was like $50 over what I wanted, which like the highest I was willing to go initially was $300, but I got the battery grip, 3 batteries, a dual battery charger, and you know, the lens and everything, sorry, not the lens, the strap for the camera and everything was really intact. Like, he hadn't even used it. It was in original packaging. So I just feel like those are the things where I was like, I budged a little bit and I increased my budget a little bit, but it all worked out. So I kind of explained to you why I decided getting this camera, but let me track back and tell you exactly how I found it. So like I said, I'd been searching on all 4 of these apps, looking, and I had narrowed my search down from the Canon M50 and the Canon SL2 to just the SL2. So after that, it was a lot easier, and you could, you know, favorite, save listings. So I kind of just watched the prices, message the seller. If they said that the price was negotiable, I tried to negotiate. If they said that the price was firm, you know, you can't really, like, you know, you don't also want to disrespect the person selling their items. If they feel that that is the original price and that is the price that they want to sell it for, that's pretty much firm. And if they say the price is firm, the price is firm. So after a day of kind of like messaging back and forth with some sellers, I narrowed it down to this guy. So I found him on Letgo. He had amazing reviews. He had sold over like 38 items and everyone gave him 5 stars. He was very, very responsive. I also love that about Letgo and Facebook Marketplace. They'll tell you like how fast they usually respond. So this guy was like, he usually responds in under an hour, and he responded to me within like 10 minutes. And that day he was like, okay, like we can meet up at 5 p.m. I feel like there are 3 rules to buying something this expensive from a reselling app and meeting someone that you don't know. Number 1 is always agree to meet up in a public place, and I typically never meet someone in the evenings. Like, I always try to meet them when there's still daylight outside. So, you know, me and this guy, we were on the same wavelength. He wanted to meet at McDonald's, so we went to McDonald's parking lot, and that's where we met. So always try to meet them in a public place. Number 2 is always take a friend with you, okay? Like, I don't go to these things by myself just in case. You never know what can happen. And again, with items like this, like, you're bringing cash and he's selling you an expensive camera and you're bringing that cash to him. So for both parties, it can be dangerous if you don't know what the other person is like. So you just both want to be cautious. I obviously brought my boyfriend with me because I just, like, anytime I go to these meetups or anytime I'm buying something from a stranger, I always want to take someone there with me. A lot of the times, honestly, he's the one who's doing the exchange. I don't even get out of the car. But, you know, for other people, just bring a friend and make sure they're kind of watching out for you. That's it. Number 3 is always try out the product while you're with the seller. So you know, like in terms of a camera, make sure you take a lens and try out the camera, make sure it's working, like take a couple shots. You want to make sure that your product is a good product. Ask as many questions, and you know, the seller should be pretty open to answering those questions. Like, open it from the box, check out that there are no scratches, make sure it's to your liking. You're spending all this money, you don't want to get something that you did not want. Yeah, so those are the 3 rules. So make sure you meet in a public place, take a friend, and can test the product while you're still with the seller. That is how I snagged almost a $600 camera for almost half the price, $350. While I know it might not be the least expensive option, I do think that it was the right option for me, only because I could have spent $150 or $200 on a camera that was new, but maybe not as sustainable, or maybe not exactly what I wanted. Like, I wanted something that I could use for years to come. So I figured, you know, it's an initial investment of $350, but it's gonna last me a lot longer. I'm very grateful for this camera. I'm very grateful for the way it worked out. I'm very grateful that it was around my budget. And overall, I'm just really happy with the camera. I think in like a month or two, I'm going to do kind of a beginner's guide to this specific camera if you guys are interested in that. I'm still learning a lot about it, but like I said, this camera is super user friendly and it kind of teaches you how to use it. So it's awesome. It's just, I'm so happy with it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to comment and subscribe so you could watch my future videos. If you want to be notified every time I post a video, you can hit the bell icon. And I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. I really hope that, you know, you are able to find the camera that is a perfect fit for you. And I hope you were able to use some of the tips that I utilized to get my camera. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.